Today on Mysterious Morsels, we're talking about O. Henry's Gift of the Magi. I was thinking in a modern day twist, although this was written years ago, I just always liked the story and I thought I would just summarize it really quickly for you. If you haven't read it, go read it. It's a quick read and it's a fun read, and it's apparently been adapted by Disney as well. So you could watch the Mickey Mouse version, same idea, but the theme upholds throughout time. And it's kind of a cool thing. It's this husband and wife, young couple. They're newly married and they're very much in love, and they don't have a lot of money at all. And I believe they're British, but we're just going to make them British because all things like this happened in Britain. Um, Go Charles Dickens. It's all his fault. He started it with A Christmas Carol. So much like A Christmas Carol, in the sense that you have in this case, good people and happy people that are in love and have a positive. Whereas in Christmas Carol, you had negative people, and Scrooge is grumpy and doesn't see all the good in his, Bob Cratchit and all those guys. Um, he gets visited by ghosts of Christmas past, present, future to be more aware of what's going on. So he kind of gets scared into the situation. This is more about love. So same idea, but I feel like those things are always set in England. So this couple's very much in love, and they're trying to buy a wonderful Christmas present for each other, but they don't have any money and they don't know what to do, and they're barely scraping by. And it was a rough time in London at the time. So the man has a very pretty pocket watch that he's had in his family for years, and he wants to buy tortoise shell combs for his wife's very long locks. She has luscious locks of red hair, and he wants to buy her these tortoiseshell combs. So he basically sells his pocket watch. I'm sure at the time it would be the equivalent of pawning, and he sells his watch to get the combs for his wife. And he's all excited with himself, and he's like, she's gonna love these, and she'll never notice the watch is gone. Like, it'll be fine. So he has them wrapped up, and he's very proud of himself. And he goes home very committed to his choice and thinking it's going to be a great Christmas and it was worth my sacrifice. Meanwhile, the young wife is having the same struggle and thinking, what am I going to do for him? He's fantastic, blah, blah. He's got this beautiful watch. I'd like to get him a fob, old school word for, basically a chain, a nice chain. I think she was trying to get him a legitimate silver chain to go with it so he didn't have to fish into his vest pocket to get the pocket watch. So she wants to buy him a silver fob, but she has no money. So she does what she can, and she sells her hair. So they cut off all of her hair, which was a big thing at the time to do, and she gets a pretty penny for it, and she goes and purchases the chain for his watch. She's very excited with her decision and her commitment. She says, "Oh, it's hair; it'll grow back." And she goes home with a very pretty present, wraps it up, and when they finally see each other, determined that they couldn't wait and they wanted to share their Christmas presents with each other that night, they present each other with those gifts, and each unwraps them and sees that they now have something for naught because he has a watch fob with no watch, and she has beautiful tortoise shell combs with no hair. And they both get very upset and start to lament their decisions and think, well, what happened? And they explain to each other, well, I did it because I wanted to do something for you and I couldn't afford it. And he says the same. And after they're sad for a little bit, it sort of ends up in a happy thing where it really didn't matter because the point was that they loved each other and they were willing to sacrifice and do anything that they could for each other to make the other one happy. So that the bond that they had and the love that they shared for one another was way stronger and mattered way more than whatever physical thing that they could procure for one another. So, and obviously, let's be real, her hair would grow back. So at least one half of them is going to get to use something. They don't really mention that in the story, but hair grows back. And I'm sure they could have gotten another watch at some point because it all is just stuff in the end and you can't take it with you. So it was a bittersweet kind of a joke. And it always reminded me of, as far as very modern day, Rupert Holmes' Escape, the song Escape. If you like pina coladas, he puts a personal ad and he wants to find somebody else and he's not happy with the lady he's with. And after all the lyrics to the song, you find out that when he goes to meet the woman, it turns out to be the exact same person that he's with. And, oh, I never knew this about you. I never knew that about you. And then they end up falling more in love than other. Although I honestly would have probably questioned that and be like, yo, what are you out looking at another person's personal ad for? But I'm just saying, that's me. Um, and there's always stories like that. So that person was looking out for something else, and grass is always greener, and then it turns out that's not the situation. So in this case, it was definitely a pure bond, and they were not stepping out in any way, shape, or form. But it is interesting how those kind of things always take you back to where you were. I had done Johann's Cross a long time ago as a podcast, and I had mentioned that the guy is looking for a cross that fits him, and then he ends up finding just the right one after he looks through all of them. It turned out to be the one that he walked in with. So very often that's the situation, and it's just it's all about love. It's all about just going that extra mile and figuring out what it is, making the sacrifice or taking in the bad info or whatever you have to do until it does work out in the end. So I like to always say that, I joke about it because if you don't laugh, you'll cry. So I always say, well, you know, everything works out in the wash. It just depends on how long it takes to do the laundry. So that's sort of my thing. And in my case, sometimes, let me tell you, it can take a very long time to do the laundry because I still have yet to figure out all the buttons on a very complicated machine. But that's me.
If you like this type of content, scare the like button into turning blue and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Thanks for watching.